I didn't have no personal feeling toward him one way or another, but after that night, sitting in that studio with him, and he was graceful. He didn't get offended by my questions, and we dialogued, and then and then we hung out after that. We went to some type of club, we hung out. And by the time I got home that night, I was like, yo, I like this dude, B. I like this dude, man. I like this dude, B. That dude he's unique. He's unique because he broke it down, and then I understood, and I just, I had love for the brother. And what was interesting too was that whenever I would see him after that, he always remembered me and always went out of his way to come and give me a hug. You know what I'm saying? And it's a true story, like, and
Nice.
that was one of the another things that I loved about him, that he was real like that, because he didn't know me from Adam.
Right, right.
He didn't know me from Adam. He found out later that because he thought I was just a producer. He didn't know that I rhymed, and I remember a second time I seen him at this club. What's the name of that club, man, on 60th Street? And I don't remember the name of this club, and it was on 60th Street, First Avenue. But I seen him at one day at that club, and he said to me, "Why you didn't tell me you rhyme, man?" This was shortly after that session, probably about 2 weeks after that session, because at the time, he was frequent in New York. I think he lived in Connecticut or something like that, and so he was in. You could run into him, and that's when he got into all of that trouble.
Right,
So
right.
it was during that time, where you could just walk in the club in New York and Pop would be in the club. And every time I walk in the club and see him, he showed me love. And he remembered, and promised that one day we were gonna work together and things of that nature. You know.
Quick three things about this timeline around 92. First of all, did Puff pay you the 15,000 for those three tracks?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is it around the time that he decides to sign you as a hitman?
Uh, yeah. That's when it started. Because okay, when this was before he brought Biggie, right? This did the Heavy D and secured that before Biggie. So when he brought Biggie to me, uh, when I opened up the door to the studio, it was Biggie, Mr. C. Oh, this shit's crazy thinking about it, man, because they all dead, man, except D-Rock, man. Because it was Biggie, Mr. C, DJ 50 Grand,
50 grand.
and D-Rock. And the three of them are gone. That shit's crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, it is
D-Rock.
crazy.
D-Rock is still around. But it was them four. And so I'm from the Bronx, and I had all of my family's from Brooklyn. All the majority of my family's from Brooklyn, but I was born and raised in the Bronx. And whenever I would go out to Brooklyn for family gatherings, I just didn't like Brooklyn dudes. They was thugs. They was gangster. Like, even as a kid, like, 11 years old, I would get into fights every time I went to Brooklyn. 4th of July, I go to my uncle for 4th of July, cookout, and the little kids want to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like every time, every time. Anyway, and then when you go to Rikers Island, you on Rikers Island, the Brooklyn, they had shit locked down. But
Oh,
anyway,
really?
so when they walked in, I'm thinking, these are Brooklyn dudes, man. I ain't got nothing against them, but I didn't I didn't engage in no conversation with them. They told me what they want. Mr. C told me what they wanted. And because they was in the studio, I put headphones on and went to work. But every now and again, while I'm making the track and I'm stopping, I'm ear hustling because Biggie's talking. I just met him. He's talking. And I was concerned because I didn't understand how somebody could be so good that they're about to get signed and they don't have a demo. I didn't understand that at all. So I was like kind of anxious to hear. Especially I had played 2 different albums for Puffy, and he just wanted my beats. He would tell me, "Yo, you getting better, you getting better." He said, "But you also getting real good with these beats." But nah, that's not what Uptown's looking for. So when he announced to me he was going to sign Biggie, but he don't have a demo, I was like, "What the what?" And I didn't play 2 albums for this dude, and he gonna sign this dude, and he don't even have a demo. That shit don't make sense to me. I was like, "Yeah, bring him to me, bring him. I'll hook him up." And so every now and then when I would stop and I'm listening to him, his stories was Biggie was a comedian. Every time I hung out with Biggie, he would have me cracking up all day. Just everything that came out his mouth was funny, and he was a comedian. And this first day of meeting him, before I even heard him rhyme, they behind me, and he's telling stories, and I'm cracking up. I'm like, they don't see, but I'm laughing. I'm like, and I said to myself, I got a feeling this dude is gonna be incredible because he's funny as hell. He's got to be good because he's so fucking funny, right? And then finally, I finished the track. He went in the booth. You could find the song we did. It's called "Biggie Got the Hype Shit." It's on YouTube. Um, I don't know how it got to YouTube. YouTube is incredible how they find these things, but
Yeah, right.
it's on YouTube. And when he initially did it, it was like 60 bars nonstop. And I remember telling him, I was like, when he finished, I'm listening while he's in the booth. I'm listening, and my impression was, I've never heard anything like this in my life. This is crazy, And he was younger. I might have been about at the time about maybe 25. Biggie was like 18. So I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I might have to just stick to making beats because I can't I can't fuck with this dude, I mean, I got confidence. I know I'm nice. I know I'm nice. It ain't just me saying that. I know I'm nice, but this is next level shit. And I remember when he finished, I said, "Yo," he said, "How was that?" I said, "Yo, that was incredible, man, but you got to break it up." And he was like, "No, no, I ain't breaking it up." I said, "Yo, how many bars is that, man?" And then we played it, counted. I said, "Yo, that's 60 bars. You got to break that up. You need a hook." And he was like, "A what?" And then Mr. C started explaining it to him, and he was like, "Nah, that's gonna fuck it up." Now I remember I went outside. Puffy was outside with Misa, with his girl. And I said, "Yo," when he see me, he said, "How'd it come out?" I said, "Yo, yeah." I said, "Yo, Puff, that dude is crazy, B." And he was like, I told you." I said, "Yeah, but he got 60 bars, man. I'm trying to get him to break it up. He don't want to break it up." And so Puffy came in, and we convinced him, and then we came up with the hook. Biggie got the hype shit. He got the hype shit. That was actually Puffy's idea, and then we did it. And so um, when they left, I'm sitting in the studio with this 8-track reel to reel, and I'm playing it and I'm playing it and I'm listening to it, and his style of writing, it freed me up to this day. What I got from him that day, to this day, it still is incorporated in my writing. And what that was that he didn't have any patterns. He didn't have any pattern. If you listen to he didn't have no particular pattern. And so many MCs to this day are still influenced by what Biggie brought to the game. All of them, because I could hear it, because I'm analytical like that. I could hear it. All of them, Sci High, Royce the 5'9", Fred the Godson, rest in peace. These, when I hear they style, because those, I mention those guys because they're incredible to me, right? But when I listen to their style of writing, the way they put their words together, that was Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Whether
Can
they
you?
know it or not, huh?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, but can you explain a little bit? Because you mentioned that he didn't have a rhyme pattern. Now, we've all heard like the stories, let's say, for example, of Rakim, right? Like his style of writing and how he formulated his stuff.
Hmm.
What is the difference between, let's say, how Rakim would formulate his compared to Biggie?
Okay, well, this is the thing, right? For me, I see, ever since I was a kid, I could see music, you know, and I can't even help it. I don't even have to think about it.
Uh,
When I hear music, I see it. You know, I could tell you what the instruments look like. You know, they all have a certain color, and depending on the texture of the instrument, it has a certain shape. So, you know, acoustic pianos, grand pianos look different from Rhodes. Rhodes pianos a little darker, so forth. Drums are white, but their drums look like just squares, rectangle. Lyrics, lyrics. When I listen to lyrics, naturally I just see the words because you know we read. I see the words, but I see the pattern.
mhm.
You know, I see what the pattern looks like. And Biggie's flow is like jazz, like a horn soloist. You know, no real pattern. So to give an example, Rakim, he wrote in a box. So whenever I used to, there was times I was emulating Rakim, his writing. Um, but when I used to see his writing, his songs, it was in a box, right?
Right.
Biggie didn't have no box; it was just a straight line with dips and valleys. Where so, in other words, so Rakim will have a rhyme. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a strong rhyme to step to. Think of how many weak songs you slept to. Time's up. Sorry, I kept you. See, that's just a pattern. That's just a
Right. Right.
box. It's just going from one to the end, one to the end,
Mhm.
one to the end. Biggie, and uh, to reiterate, sometimes you would get stuck, or I would get stuck on a rhyme because I'm trying to find a word that rhymes with the ending of the last line.
Mhm.
And it would take me a while trying to find a word, you know, and then sometimes I can't find a word. I would have to switch up the whole line
Right. Right. To make it make sense. Got you. Got you.
so that I can find something that could rhyme with it on the next line.
Mhm.
Biggie didn't bother with that. He didn't trifle with that. You know what I'm saying? He just said what he wanted to say and make it rhyme on the next line. You know,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. So when you hear him go, live from Bedford Stuyvesant, the livest one, representing BK to the fullest. That's two bars right there that didn't rhyme. See,
Right. Right.
right. See, the way Rakim and the way we traditionally rhyme, that last line, instead of BK to the fullest, he would have had to say something that rhymed with Stuyvesant or livest one.
Right.
So it would
Right.
have
Right.
had to be live from Bedford Stuyvesant, the livest one, representing to the vibest one. You know,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
something, it had to rhyme. He didn't rhyme. He didn't care. You know, he
Mhm.
just he said whatever he wanted to say and then make the next line rhyme. So that in that particular rhyme, representing gay BK to the fullest. Gats, I pull it. Bastards duck in with big chicken heads be clucking in my bathroom fucking. You know, or he would say the same thing twice. Wear boxes so my dick oxygen he can't breathe. Mad tricks up the sleeve. Wear boxes so my dick can breathe. He brought breathe back. He
Yeah.
said breathe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the way it came across to me that day, seeing what he was doing, I said, all I gotta worry about is the rhythm. I don't have to worry about what I'm saying or whether it rhymes or not. Just deal with the rhythm. And so that same night, that's why I tell people that he changed my life overnight, because that same night I wrote a song called Can I Get Some? You know, using those principles, using those rules. And I came back to the studio the next day and recorded it,
Mhm.
right? And uh, Puffy brought an artist to the studio, and I was playing beats, and I played that song. I played it for 10 seconds, you know, because back then you had the DATs, and you know, you got to fast forward to see where you at. And I would just make my DATs. As I made music, I put it on the DAT. You know, if I made a beat, I put it. If the next thing was a song, then it would be the song. If the next thing was a beat, it'd be the beat. So everything was mixed in the DAT. And I hit play, and it was on that song, and I let it play for 10 seconds, and then I went to the next beat. And then I remember he said, I want that beat. He said, but what up with that song that you played with some nigga rhyming that you didn't want me to hear? I said, that was me rhyming. And he was like, that was you? I was like, yeah. He said, let me hear that. And I let him hear it, and he immediately started telling me about Bad Boy and his dream and his vision. And he said, "Listen, if you could do 3 more songs like this, you got a deal." And I said, "You serious?" He said, "Yeah, you got a deal." And so it was like, you know, it was a beautiful feeling that this man was just telling me, "Yo, you got a deal. I'm fucking with you now." And it was just based off a song that I did immediately after hearing
After
Biggie Smoke.
hearing Big, that's crazy.
Like not
Yeah.
a few days later, the same night. I wrote when Biggie and Mr. C and them left. I played it over and over about 10 times, analyzing it, and then I pulled up my pen and paper and started writing.
Mm.
And then the next day I wrote. The next day I came and made a track and recorded it.
How did the Dolly My Baby remix come about?
Um, well, see, all of the remixes, Puffy was the businessman. He was getting the remixes done, and he would come up with ideas. And he got the job to do that Dolly My Baby remix, and he came up with the idea of putting Yes We Can. So he came to me and was like, "Yo, I was working all the time." So he came to me and was like, "Yo, we we're gonna do the Super Cat remix, right?" And I was like, "The reggae artist?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, bet." And he said, "Listen, I want you to take Yes We Can from the Pointer Sisters, make a beat with that, and we're gonna use that for the remix." I said, "Okay." And we went and did it. And Super Cat came in the studio with his manager or his representative from Columbia Records, I think he was signed to at the time. They came and he didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he knew, Puff, we had already got a little name in the industry for the remixes that we were doing, so Cat he wanted us to remix it, but he didn't like Yes We Can. So that day, I remember Puff was like, "Yo, they already paid us, so if they don't like it, I don't know what to tell them, man." He said, "What you think about it?" And I said, I think it's all right, but it's kind of slow. You know what I'm saying? I would have put 1-900 number on there. He was like, "What's 1-900 number?" I said, "You don't know LL Cool J 1-900 number?" And I ran down the block to Colony Records and brought the cassette and brought it back up to Uptown and played it for him. And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, let's use this, man. Let me see if I can get this, the
Good.
permission from LL from Def Jam. Let me call Russell and all that." I said, "Well, I know the original. I can make something from the original." And he was like, "You know the original?" I said, "I know the song that LL sampled to make this, because I could do it better than what this is. I could do it better. Just give me a chance. Let me do something." And that's how it. And for all of us rhyming on it, he came to me while I was in the studio working on it, and he said, "Yo, I got an idea." He said, "Me, you, and Biggie and Roland. Third Eye." Let me get this in there. Third Eye was never really my name. It was the name of the group. And it was the three of us, and the two brothers that was Third Eye. They died. Those two brothers passed away. But he came to me. He said, "Yo, me, you, Rolling Big, we gonna rhyme on this remix." And I was like, "Why? Why you want to do that?" And he was like, "Yo, you don't think that shit'd be incredible?" I was like, "Not really." And he was like, and he said, "Nah, you don't think you could kill this shit?" I was like, "I mean, maybe, man." He was like, "Yo, you could do that shit you be doing." He told the engineer, he said, "Play the tape, right?" He said, "Yo, he said, you could come in like this part right here, right? This part, then you could come in. You know how you be flowing? You could come in, ring, ring. That's what he did, right?" And I went, "Oh shit, that's dope, Puff. Let me get a pen and paper." And when I wrote, I didn't remember that he said ring, ring. So I ended up saying bling, bling.
Ah,
You know what
shit.
I'm saying? I
Yeah, yeah.
just remember that. But the way he came in, he was like, "Yo, you could come in, ring, ring. Who's that?" And I was like, "Oh shit, word, that should be dope. That should be dope. All right. And I grabbed the pen, and when I started writing, I said Bling Bling. Just so
Uh,
that's how Bling Bling came about. First Bling Bling in hip hop.
yeah.
But
Yo, how did you come
it
up with
actually
this?
came about from P Diddy.
How did you come up with the style of the rhyme, though? The way you were delivering the rhyme.
Oh, it was a mixture of like I was a big fan of Busta Rhymes at the time. His animation. Um, I was real cool with DOS Effects. Those was my dudes. And I was a member of Hit Squad for a minute. So uh, that kind of animated. It just came naturally. But it was more the style of the writing. Which, like I said earlier, came from my exposure to Biggie Smalls.
Mm.
Um, and it all went hand in hand. I never thought of myself
So,
as a bar person like a Nas or someone like that. I always
mhm.
felt that my thing was delivery and energy and flavor. That was one of the I was one of the first to start calling what I did flavor.
Mm.
Uh,
Right.
and Craig Mack came out with Flavor in Your Ear. That was after listening to my demo, where I had a song called Who Got the Flavor.
Mm.
And he came up with that incredible Here Come the Brand of Flavor in Your Ear.
Right.
You and,
So, before I ask you this other question, I just want to get some like a timeline. You mentioned 50 grand. You mentioned Mr. C coming, right?
Mhm.
And part of me, if it's just my ignorance, but throughout the years, as far as hearing the stories of Biggie being discovered or whatever, I always heard 50 grand, and then from 50 grand to Mr. C. Um,
Mhm.
I've never really.
Yeah, that's how it went. That's how
So
it went.
so
Big was in the basement
right,
recording straight to a tape with 50 grand.
and then that got
And then 50 grand let Mr. C hear it.
right.
The Mr. C, or I don't know if Mr. C brought it to Matty C for the unsigned hype, or I don't know if it went to the unsigned hype, and then Mr. C got wind of it, and Mr. C brought it to Puffy, and then they all came to me to Biggie first time in the booth,
Okay, so that was
and
like what you did that very first time was like an actual first official demo.
first time really in the studio in the booth.
Got you.
What he was
Okay.
doing with 50 grand was 50 grand just cutting the
Right
records
in the basement,
in the
listen.
basement, yeah.
Okay,
So that was
got
his
you.
first time actually in the booth. Like I said, he didn't even know about a hook.
Right.
He was like, nah, he was resisting. I was like, yo, but then Mr. C was explaining to him, this
How to
is what a
break it
hook
down.
is.
Got you.
Yeah.
You got a lot of stuff, man. We're trying to put it all in the capsule, man. But I gotta ask you about this, man. One of my all-time favorite songs is "Step Into a World" by KRS One.
Yeah.
Um, Again, I don't remember. I probably saw the credit at some time or whatever, but I didn't really realize or remember that you did that track. Can you
That's the that's the
please?
that's the that's the that's the thing about that track, man. I still come across people that are surprised when I tell them that I did that track.
Yeah, can you
It's a weird thing.
just do me a favor, man? Can you please explain the process of how you even came about to do the track? From
Okay. Again, it's just I was hanging out at the tunnel, and it was clearing out. I remember this night, this one of them Sundays, and it was clearing out. But Flex was still DJing, and he put on the record Champ, that I ended up sampling for that record. And I was sitting there, I was by myself, and I was just listening to it. I was standing by the speaker, so I was getting the full power of that track, and I said to myself, I love these drums, man. I wish I had these drums by itself, which I do now with the stem separation
Mhm.
technology. I have those drums clear as day right now. But back then, it was impossible. And I was like, damn, I wish I had them drums. And I said to myself, fuck it, I'm gonna go home tonight and I'm gonna make like I have those drums. I'm gonna just make a beat and pretend that I'm not gonna pay attention to what's on top. I'm just gonna listen to the drums. I'm gonna chop each kick snare. I'm gonna take each kick snare hi hat as if it was just a drum loop,
Mm.
and just program something with it and see what I come up with. And that's what I came up with. But at the time, I was signed to Atlantic Records, so I was my intentions was to follow the trend of I was always a big fan of Pete Rock and CL Smooth, especially as a producer, Pete Rock. And Pete used to play those interludes, in between
Hmm.
in between the tracks. So that's all I wanted to do. I said, yeah, this would be a dope interlude. I didn't hear nobody rhyming on it or anything like that. I honestly didn't. It just was gonna be, I didn't think to rhyme on it myself, and I'm working on an album. I just was gonna have it fade in and fade out like Pete Rock used to do. And again, I went to the studio to play beats for Chris. And again, like I was telling you with the Biggie Smoke with the song with Puffy, I got everything on the DAT. So I don't know where I'm at. I'm fast forwarding, hit play to see where I'm at. Fast forward, play. Okay, yeah, hear this beat. And when I got to that beat, my ego kicked in, so I let it play because I was like, I wanted to hear my skills or what I did with it, the way I rearranged this shit, and I played it, and everybody stopped for a minute. Then I went to the next beat, you know, and then Chris goes, same exact shit Puffy said. He said, that beat was all right, man, but what about that champ shit that you didn't want me to hear? I said, oh, what do you mean I didn't want you to hear it, man? You want to hear that? And he was like, he said, yeah. Chris with the eyes, he was like, yeah, I want to hear that. And I played it. And then after it stopped, he said, that's it, Jesse West, that's it. I said, you want this one? He was like, yeah, yeah. We could wrap this up. That's it. We don't need nothing else. And I was like, oh shit. Record company was there. They was like, yo, let's get all your information, your lawyer information and all that. We're gonna get this done right away. So I was happy that, I was getting a track on the KRS One with KRS One, and I'm about to make some money. I was happy about that. But I was upset at what he picked, you know. Um, to me, it didn't, it wasn't like I'm a musician, I play guitar, I play keyboards, and the stuff I was playing for him was way more intricate in terms of instrumentation and changes in it. Because in the
Right, right.
beginning it was just a 4-bar loop. It didn't have, when you hear the track with all them bam, 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 all them breakdowns in it, that came across because I said, all right, but let me do something, man. Once I realized he wanted the track, because all he heard was that bam, 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 just a
That's
4-bar
it.
loop, no breaks, no changes, none of that, and he wanted it. I remember driving on the West Side Highway with my man that was with me, right? And I was like, I said, yo, man, you see how funny these fucking dudes are? He was like, what are you talking about? I said, all of them beats I played for him, and he picked that one. And he was like, yo, why are you upset, B? You about to get a song with KRS. But I was like, that I could do better. I could do better. I played better tracks. I played better tracks. That's just some simple loop. I said, yo, I did that shit in like 15 minutes, man. When I got home, I told him the story. I came home
Yeah,
3 in the morning. I did it
that's
sleepy.
crazy.
That's the truth. So that day, I said, all right. I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I told my man, I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go home and go crazy on this shit. I'm gonna put some changes. I gotta do something, to make it presentable. And that's what I did. And what made Chris so dope is that when I came in the studio to lay it down, I said, Chris, listen, man, I added some things to it. And he was like, what would you add to it, man? He said, because I want it raw. I said, no, I didn't add. It's still just the sample in drums, but I added all kind of crazy drum breaks, drum breakdowns and rolls and changes and shit in it. I put changes and shit in it. So I need to know, you know, what the format is of your
The vi-
whatever you wrote, so I
yeah,
know where to put them. And he just said, He said, put them where you feel like they should go. I said, okay, all right. And I just randomly put them. I just put them in random, but in a pattern, 4 bars and then drum 8 bars, change, 4 bars, another change, 8 bars. I put it in that type of pattern, but no song structure. And he went in and he did what he was gonna do. And then, he brought the girl Kiva, her name was Kiva, he brought her in there and he said, listen, she's gonna sing a bunch of things. And if you hear something that you like, let me know. And then he left the room. He went outside and it was just me and her in there with the engineer. And she kept singing things. She kept singing things. And I was like, nah, try something else. She sang that, nah. But then when she got to that step into, well, she started singing Blondie's lyrics. You
Right.
know, she started singing Blondie. And when she started doing that, I was like, whoa,
So she just
whoa.
randomly just it just came out of her to sing that
She,
part.
Something told her to sing Rapture. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And
shit.
when she
Okay.
started singing it, I said, oh, I said, that's it, that's it. I said, that's it. She was like, you like that one? I said, yeah, 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 yeah. And I grabbed the pen and paper and I just started writing, Step Into a World, and then I wrote it and gave it to her and she sang it. And then we let Chris hear it. And then I was like, I came outside. He said, she came up with something. I said, we already recorded it. He was like, what? I said, come on, listen. And when we played it and shit, he just looked at me. He said, Jesse West, you are a fucking god, B. You are a god. I was like, man, I'm just happy to be here. It's her, it's me. Everything that I've done noteworthy in my career involves somebody else. I didn't do nothing on my own. You
Right,
know,
right, right.
I didn't do
Yeah,
nothing on
that's
my own.
crazy because I always wondered, I was kind of like, man, that's crazy. I wonder how they decided to come up with the Blondie thing and
Yeah,
incorporate.
Kiva. She came up with that. I just wrote the step into a world and all that shit. But she came up with she came up with that idea. That was her idea to do that. I didn't tell her. I just told her try something else. Try
So
something else. And we did that for about maybe a half hour until she got to that. And when she got to that, I said, "Whoa, stop! That's it right there." And it's my biggest record, man, of my whole
how
career.
word, yeah, how
Well,
long? So after you guys did that and she laid the vocals down, when does Chris come in and lay his stuff down?
um,
His vocals.
afterwards, maybe the next day or
Like the
something
next
like that.
And
Yeah.
then when this finally comes out and hits, man, and is playing all over New York, the video comes out, which to me just took it even further after
hmm
you see the visuals. Man, what are you thinking, bro?
I was happy. Another gold record. You know what I'm saying? Another gold record to add to my accomplishments because it shipped gold. So,
Yo, I gotta tell you a quick story. I gotta share this with you since I have the opportunity. We had Chatty O on, from the group Crew, a little while back, and I was telling him this story, and I'm gonna share it with you because you did this song. So, Crew had uh, Pronto, then Step Into My World is out, right? Both are at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and they're on the same float, bro. And they were going back to back. They would drop Pronto, crowds going crazy, the whole crowd's going crazy. And then KRS drones. Yo, I followed that float from the beginning of where I was all the way to the end. It
yeah,
was amazing to see what was going on with the people. and,
yeah.
and it was just dropping back to back to back to back, man. So, and again, that's one of my favorite all time. So I just want to say thank you. I
Yeah, that
whenever I'm in the funk or whatever, I could put that song on, and
yeah,
it gets me hyped. Thank
that
you,
that
brother.
that is my most successful record in my whole career in terms of
Really,
it's 29 years ago we recorded that song. 29 years ago. And I
man.
just made some money from them licensing it on the new NBA 2K25.
Oh wow.
They
Nope.
licensing it. I make money every year from that song for 29 years. It's been licensed in about 5 movies, 5 motion pictures.
Mm.
This is the second time they're using it for the NBA 2K. This is the second time
Wow,
they're using it.
that's
Um,
crazy.
it was in the Michael Jordan, the Last Dance. Oh, it's been in. It's every year it gets licensed. They was playing it on take after what is it? First Take.
Mm.
I was getting publishing from that. You know, they was playing it during the NBA Finals a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Before they went to commercial, they was playing it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and
Damn.
that was like 2 years ago. I'm like, yo, this song is what they call what they call these songs are evergreen. It's an evergreen. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the only song in my catalog that's like that.
Speaking,
I still get decent publishing checks for my whole catalog, but that one right there is what really boosted. Yeah,
speaking,
that was, and I thank Chris for having the vision because I didn't have the vision. I didn't see it for the monster that it was. I did.
Mm.
It's like when you do something that takes so much, it's just doesn't take any effort to do it. You start to lose sight of how great it is that you're doing it because it was just so
Yo,
easy.
not bad for what was supposed to be an interlude.
Yeah, that record was a monster. I didn't see it. It would
Crazy.
have been if it wasn't for KRS, it would have been an interlude. Like you would on an album that album I was working with never even came out. So thanks to Chris, no one probably would have never even heard that shit. You know what I'm saying?
speaking
And
of your dog, we could be here till 7 o'clock talking to you, but we won't do that to you. A couple more highlights before we talk about what you have going on in 2024. Can you speak a
Mhm.
little about joining the Hit Squad and working with an underrated rapper named Top Quality?
Well, Top Quality was one of the artists. Okay, that same studio that I've been telling you about, right? It was owned by a brother named Greg Trotman, and it was called TD Hype Recording Studios, and he had a production company. And signed to his production company was DMX and Top Quality. And then he had a art. Oh, he had DMX, Top Quality, and the singer Case. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
At the same time, he had these three signed to his production company, and Top Quality was one of them. So I met DMX, I met Top Quality, I met Case from working in that studio, and I always was feeling Top Quality. So somehow, oh, I think he did a talent show in because he was Top Quality was from New Rochelle or Yonkers. I
White
think
Plains.
White Plains, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's from White Plains, and he met Paris Smith through a talent show he did up there, and Paris heard him and ended up signing him. And but I had already known Top Quality. I had already did a song with him. I was working on one of my songs when I was down with Puff, and TQ came to the studio one day and he was like, "Yo," and I had never did a song with just a feature of another artist before. And he came and he was hanging out, smoking his weed, and I was working on the song. And I went in the booth and did my part. When I came out, he said, "Yo, I got a verse for that. Can I put a verse for on that?" And I was like, "You got a verse for it?" I said, "Let me hear what you got." And I played it, and he did his verse. And I said, "Oh yeah, bet, go do that." And that ended up being one of the singles that he put out. Man, it's a song called "What" with him and I. That was originally my song,
Mm.
Oh, wow.
but then he came to me and was like, "Can he use it for his project?" That's why I rhymed first on it. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Can he use it for his project?" Well, Parrish really called me and was like, "Yo, I need this song for Top Quality." So I said, "Okay, we could do that." Um, and then I think I did two other songs on that album. That album was it was definitely a masterpiece in
Mm-hmm.
its own way, and it's called Magnum Opus. But it was a very slept on album,
Right.
very slept on, man. It had some nice. That shit was a dope album, man.
Right.
But he was on PMD Records,
Mm-hmm.
and you know he didn't get that much promotion. He got a video and. I don't know what happened with that, and I think it should have made a lot more noise than it did. You
Right.
know, but that's how I met TQ. I met him through the production company, and then You know, we had a nice little relationship because, like I said, we did that song together before he even got signed to PMD. You know, he met PMD later. You know, but then I met PMD through Das Effects. You know, again, I met Das Effects because of the Kid Capri tape.
Mhm.
Because Das Effects years ago when I did the No Prisons album, they used to have a radio show that used to come on I think 105 with a old back in the days, and it was called the Hank Love Show, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It was an independent radio station, and it wasn't censored, so people used to call up and be disrespectful. And so I was up there doing an interview, and somebody called and they was like, "Yo, where can I find your album, man? I don't see it in stores." And I was like, "Yeah, you could go. They got it on 125th, blah 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 blah." It didn't call away. I don't want that shit. It hung up. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Oh shit." So this particular day, me and my man was because when Das Effects first came out with that bump skitty, you know, we was like, "What the fuck are they talking about, man? What is this shit?" And they was at they was up at the Hank Love show. No, no, it was Awesome 2. They this particular day they was at the Awesome 2 show, Teddy Tad and Special K. And me and my man was listening to it in the car. So, you know, I was telling them, yo, remember I was telling him about the time I was at Hank Love show and the dude called and dissed me. So he was like, yo, we should call up there and ask him, you know, what is that bump skiddity bump shit? And I was like, word bang, yo, let's do that and shit, right? And I called. And but when I got on the phone and it was ringing, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna be disrespectful to these dudes, man. I don't, you know, I ain't got no reason to be disrespectful. They doing their thing. The record is, I love the video. The video was crazy. So I ain't gonna be disrespectful, man. I'm gonna just holler at them, man, you know. But the brother Blitz answered the phone. And I was like, yo, I want to speak to Das Effects, right? Now, I've never met these brothers. I was like, yo, I want to speak to Das Effects. And he was like, yo, they in the studio right now. They can't come to the phone. I was like, word? I said, all right, well, can I leave a message for Teddy Ted and Special K? And he was like, all right. I said, tell him and shout out for Jesse West, right? So he was like, all right, shout out for Jesse West. He said, okay, so Jesse West, you're not the rapper Jesse West, right? And I was like, well, yeah. He said, yo, Dre Scoop, they fucking love you. Yo, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Don't hang up. And next thing I know, one of them was on the phone. He was like, yo, this is really Jesse West, No Prisoners, Warriors. And I was like, yeah. He was like,
Nice.
yo, my dude, listen, we doing a show at NYU tomorrow, man. Please, we need you to come through. We need you to come through. And I showed up, and that's how I met Eric Sermon, PMD. And that day, when I showed up, they was like, now, mind you, I'm already down with his squad. I mean, with Hitman
Hitman.
and
Mhm.
Puffy and shit, right? So when I showed up, he was like, "Yo, you still rhyme?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I still rhyme." Matter of fact, I got my demo right here, and I was listening to my shit in the Walkman, and I gave it to Dre and let him listen to it, man, and that was all she wrote. Then next thing I know, I was on tour with them, and then next
Mm.
thing I know, I signed with Parrish as for management, you know, and
Right.
that was a big contention with Puffy because they didn't get along, and he didn't want me to. A lot of people was telling me not to do it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking these are hip hop gods, man. Why wouldn't I want to be with them? You know, Redman was coming up. They had K Solo, and yeah, man, I don't have no regrets with that. You know,
One last track before we talk about 2024, and it had a crazy visual to it. That's the Xzibit. What you see is what
what
you
you see, what you get. Yeah,
You talk a little bit about how that track came about.
yeah. I told this story before. I had a friend named Dan Tanner that was working at Loud Records. And he was like, you know, Xzibit is in town, man. Can I bring him through to your crib to listen to some beats? And I said, yeah, bet. I like to meet Xzibit. Yeah, bring him, you know? So I was living in the Bronx in Parkchester at the time and shit. And he brought Xzibit to my house. And I played a bunch of beats for Xzibit. And that might have been the second or third beat that I played, but I played about 15 beats for him. And he was like, because when that third beat came on, he said, I want that, you know, so put that to the side. So I put that to the side. And I started playing more beats. And then when he finished, he was like, yo, I didn't hear nothing else, man, but I want that one track. I said, okay, you know, and I put it on the cassette. and gave it to him. Totally forgot about it. About 10 months later, 9 months later, I get a call out the blue. You speak to Just West? I was like, speaking. He said, yo, this is Xzibit. I said, what's up, Xzibit? What's up, man? How you, man? And he was like, yo, you ready to do that track? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? He said, remember the track you gave me? I said, man, I haven't heard from you. I thought you wasn't fucking with it. He said, you ain't give it away. I said, nah, I didn't give it away. I just don't remember the track. You know, I know I gave you something, but I don't remember what it. And he played it over the phone. And I said, okay, that one. All right, cool, cool, cool. He said, yo, can you fly out here this weekend? Word? Um, yeah, yeah, shit. I'd love to go to Cali again. I love Cali. First thing that came to my mind, dig it in the crates. I was like, oh shit, Cali? Hell yeah. Cali was crazy with the digging in the crates back then. I said, yeah. Plus they had the music convention at Pasadena. They used to be in Pasadena the end of the month. But anyway, I was like, yeah, bet, man. You know, he said, I'm gonna get all of that. You know, give me your lawyer's number, you know, so we can get the business taken care of. And that's how that track came about. When I got out there, he was playing it, you know, let me hear his rhymes. And, you know, that part where it goes, and I always tell people this story to make my point on how when when the producers used to be in the studio collaborating with the artists, how important that was. Because nowadays, you know, like I did a track with Farrell Monch on that PTSD album, I think it was it. Or War Monkey. No, War Monkey.
War Monkey?
The
Nice.
War Monkey album, right? And when people when the album came out, they was like, yo, that track you did with Farrell Monch is crazy, man. Yo, you know what I'm saying? And I used to tell them, yeah, I know the bug shit about it, man, is that I haven't seen Farrell Monch in about 5 years, you know. But we got this track on the album, you know. And so with Xzibit, I was playing the track, and you know the part where we go players, pimps, ballers, hustlers. You know, that's an important part of the song. You know, but even high voters, keep it moving. What you see is what you get. When he was playing the beat, when that part came on, the boom, 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 he said, that's the only part I don't want in there, right? And I was like, you don't want that part? He was like, nah, I'm not feeling that part. I said, nah. Listen, B, this is what you do on that part, right? Players, pimps, ballers, hustlers, villains, even high up. I said, I didn't write, I'll write the rest, but this is that. And he said, oh, yeah, I like that. You know, he said, oh, yeah, I like that. You know, and I just wrote it, you know, just wrote the
Oh,
party.
and that gave it that. Oh man, that gave it that
Uh,
oomph.
but yeah.
What did you think when the visuals dropped, though?
Oh, it's another gold record. You know,
Yeah, that was crazy.
thank you, Lord, man. I'm fortunate, man. That again, I just made 10 grand off of that beat last year. So, you know, that and step into a world, man. That's every year, man. I make a few $1,000s, man, off of them songs. So I'm very fortunate, man. I have a huge catalog, man, but that's the only two songs that really continues to pay me, you know, every now and again. And you know, I got a lot. You know, my discography, it ain't like a Primo or, you know, one of them cats or Pete
Right.
Rock, but it's still
It's nice. It's
respectable.
nice. Yes, yes. Definitely, definitely. Man, so like Sincere said, we could be here all night long, probably
Yeah,
all week
yeah.
actually. But catch us up as far as what what you have going on now. Anything
Well,
coming out of the
like I said earlier, in about a month or so, I'm about to drop this EP.
right, right.
It's gonna be 7 songs, but you know how things are done today. You know, we don't just drop albums no more. You know, it'll be. I mean, it's the whole thing will be available on the streaming platforms. You know, the Spotify's, the Apple Music, and so forth. I'm also going to put it up on Bandcamp, SoundCloud. You know, do whatever I can, social media and just marketing to get it heard.
Hmm.
And yeah, you know, it's going to be music. Um, I call it world music, but it's still hip hop. It's still real dope, well produced, and it's for older crowd. You know, like I said, I'll
Hmm.
be 57 in a couple of months. So I have to make music that makes sense for someone my age. What would I really talk about? You know, what am I and that's what the music is about. It's about life and the things that I've experienced. And you know, it's for posterity. A lot of it is what I decided to do is that I wanted to show that so 100 years from now, when people listen to hip hop music, they won't believe that everything that hip hop was about in this era was all negative. Was all about, you know, I'll kill you. I got money. Fuck a bitch. You know, some of the songs I'm addressed in that. You know,
Okay.
but that's coming in about a month, and then I got my IG page where I'm gonna start every week. Maybe I might even up the frequency, but every week I'm just gonna drop beats. I love that's what
You
I
got some
got a little
fire joints
passion.
on there already.
Yeah, I got a little passion back for rhyming. But after I finish this project, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna do another one after this, you know, because 57, I'm 60 years across the street, and I'm not gonna be 60 years old, man. Rhyming. I'm not gonna, I'm sorry. But I will be making that motherfucking fire though. I will be putting that fire down in the kitchen, them beats. I'm gonna
Right.
do that shit until I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this will probably be the last project as an MC. You know, like I said, I just wanted something out there for posterity and something for my descendants that come after me. You know, they can listen, you know, because we live in a that's one good thing about the era we live in right now, man. It's like everybody has their own diary, man, now, man. Your own life story, man, is just being frozen on that internet, man, because everybody got an
Hmm.
IG, everybody got a Facebook. You know, people that aren't even really entertainers, you know, but that's something that you're going to be able to go back 50
Yeah.
years from now, hopefully, and see this person's story, see what they was doing, you know, and that's a beautiful thing. You know, that's one of the most beautiful things that I love about social media. You know,
Oh,
and yeah, and that's basically it, man. And you know, a few projects, man. I always got cats coming at me, man, and they want tracks, you know.
Mhm.
Uh, always, Chris is always asking for tracks.
nice.
Uh, you know, Positive K, that's my brother, man. He's always he's always like on that edge, looking
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a way
yeah.
to jump back in because he's doing a lot of things, man, and you know that he doesn't even really need to put any new music out if he doesn't want to. But you know, he like me, he's always waiting for that opportunity. So he'll always call me, send him something to see if I send him something that sparks something in him. You know, that's a regular thing, and you know, and I have a lot of relationships like that. You
Nice,
know.
nice. I'm looking forward to those IG because like I said, you have some stuff up there now that you've taken some sample, but I've never heard them flip the way you flip them on there.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, yo, some of this stuff I like, man, I was like, yo, how is he doing that? How you
yeah. And I
manipulate?
you
It's
know,
dope though,
well,
man.
strangely enough, man, you know, I don't get the recognition when it comes to that, man, that I should. You know, when I say, you know, not to be tooting my own horn, right? I think I got the best chop in the history of chopping. And it ain't me just saying that. It's proven by, like I just told you, I just got an agreement from NBA 2K5. It's
Mm,
gonna be, you know, so it's in the video game. You know, 29 years later.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Come on now, man. Ain't nobody got no chop that compare. The only person I compare it to, me personally, is just Blaze with that shit he
Just
did with Jay
Blaze.
Z.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That
yeah,
the way he chopped she's a very freaky girl, that Rick James.
For Jay-Z.
yeah.
Oh
I
yeah, oh
can't remember
Lord.
the damn song. Shit.
Oh Lord,
I
oh
know what you're
Lord.
talking about.
Yeah. I give Just Blaze. Yes.
Dope.
That one. But you know,
Uh,
don't get me wrong. Like the brother Vitamin D, incredible. Um, soundtrack, he do some dope shit too. You know, he do some dope shit too. You know, but we're all different. You know, I think I call with soundtrack is kind of in the middle. Vitamin D, I call what he do more like he flips them. He flips them. He doesn't. He does
Mhm.
something totally different. I chop. I used what's there and I chop. The only thing I may add is maybe a bass and drums. You know what I'm saying? Vitamin D, he goes on another level. He combines shit. You know, he's a very dope producer that I'm surprised that I never heard of him until IG. And that's shocking to me because he's very good. And he's same age group.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So he's been doing it a long time, I imagine. Soundtrack is a little younger, but you know, he his flips is dope. Soundtrack's flips is dope. I've heard some shit where I can't even lie. And you know, there's a few producers, man, that's what I like about IG too. You know, I came across some producers that I follow that I like. Like I like K Fresh. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Mm.
Nah,
Um,
not K Fresh.
K Fresh, yeah, you can find
Okay.
him on IG. And I really like the brother Theory Has It. Theory Has It. Yeah, he's
K
bananas.
Fresh.
Oh.
He's yeah,
Yeah.
and theory has it. He spells has it Hazit. Theory has it. Check him out.
Yeah.
He dope. He's dope. When you go on his page, you're gonna be like, wow. But these are all boom bap. You know, I'm a boom bap dude.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah, yeah.
saying? I'm a boom bap. You could put me in the studio with Mary J. Blige, and I'm
I
gonna
know
make
we
it
didn't
do it.
even talk about Mary, but you know,
Yeah,
that's one maybe another day,
yeah.
bro.
You could put
But
me in the
look,
studio. You could put me in the studio with Beyonce. I'm gonna do my thing. You know, but my love, my passion is boom bap. I bleed boom bap. Love it.
where I can't we're gonna close this out. But where the hell did you come up with this whole little skit thing or niggas, I love niggas, niggas up? Where did all
Oh,
that
that was
come from?
I was just I was just doing the last post. That's the last
The
post.
last post, right, right. But I mean, like, how did you just, it just hit you? You know, like, was you just feeling that vibe? I mean, how did that come
No, no,
out?
Biggie was doing a song called Niggas.
Right, right.
And I was in the studio and um, you know, I said, yo, I just told him, yo, I could go in there and do some last post shit, you know.
Yeah.
And he said, word, go ahead and do it. You know, that I went and
And
did
you
it.
just
You
did
know,
that
very
shit.
simple.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And then was it 50 they did 50 use that also?
Yeah. I think the story when Who Kid got a hold of the acapella and
Ah, okay.
you know who Kid went and did the beat and 50 jumped on it. 50 put the hook on it.
And then
And they used my voice, you
yeah,
know. So, you know, I made a little money from it. I wasn't
nice.
mad at it. But it's just, yeah, it's just one of them things. A lot of people again are surprised. They like, that's you. You know,
Yo,
they're like, God damn, man, like you know, all this underground inside story shit, man, that you part of.
you know what have been dope, man? You and what's his name? The mad rapper.
Uh D Dot,
D Dot.
yeah.
You and D Dot never spoke about doing something together?
Maybe once a long time ago,
I
just
would
you
have
know
been,
how when
yeah.
you somewhere and you bump into someone and they like, yo, we gotta get together, but you know, it never really happens, you know, because I don't know him that well.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm
But I'm
saying?
saying y'all personalities, man. Y'all might have made some dope shit.
Yeah.
But
At one point, he was on Instagram, you know, when they started with the COVID, when they started doing the verses, and he was like, yo, who wanna do a verses against me? And I had chimed in and said, I'd do it, you
yeah.
know, but
Oh shit.
you know, my
Okay.
man Ron Lawrence called and was like, Ron was like, nah, you know, that was his partner. Ron was like, nah, he ain't gonna do it, Wes. He ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, why not? I mean, he he got some shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't have a lot, you know. I don't have a lot. You know, I just got most of the stuff that I did was pretty big, but you know, I don't have a lot.
Right,
So,
right, right.
you know,
Oh. Well,
hey
we
man.
appreciate everything you've done for the culture, Jesse West. Been big fan
I
since.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
You,
everything you need, we're here. New music, anything you got coming up, let us know. Before we get out of here, can you let people know where to catch you on social media?
well, right now I just got the IG page. It's I am Jesse West underscore AKA Third Eye. I am Jesse West underscore AKA Third Eye. And you know, I might start another page for the artist stuff. this page that I built up now is going to be strictly beats because I already have nothing but beats on it. So I'm gonna just continue building it up with beats. But like I said, I'm every week or maybe every third or fourth day, I'm gonna drop another video with just beats. Get from being inspired by seeing brothers like the cat I told you, K Fresh. That's what he does. He been doing it. Theory has it. Been doing it. Even though I started. If you go back on my IG page, I started way before these dudes. I just didn't take it to the level that they did. And I'm looking at it and going, okay, that's what I could do next. So that's what it is. Just for the love of it, just for the love of boom bap. And
So
I already, people hollering at me, they want beats stuff.
that's
It's
cool,
it's
man.
cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's just that everybody, the game has become the producer don't get paid no more. You know what I'm saying? We get the back end now. It's like uh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have to have a relationship. I have to have a serious relationship with you for me to actually really sing you some music like that.
right, right.
Because I don't sit here and do this for free. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, nah, you pay too many dues to just not want to
Yeah,
give it
yeah. I
away.
don't, I don't, I don't, I don't do it. I make beats every day, man. Every day. You know what I'm
Good.
saying? It's hard to I got a machine. I got the machine right here. I got an MPC. You can see the keyboard. Look, see, I got sounds up right now. The keyboard. I never turn my shit off. I never turn it off.
Oh,
You got something hot in there right now?
No, not in the. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, something, a little something.
got some rhymes to go with that?
You got what you got written today?
Huh?
What you got written today?
Nothing yet. Nothing yet.
No.
Nothing yet. Yeah,
Yeah, Jack.
I started working on that last night, and I didn't finish it. Well, this morning, really 2 in the morning, I didn't finish it. I don't sleep, man.
I
I,
was gonna
I
say,
average
man,
about.
you still have that producer, type of vibe. Stay up, something hit you, you probably get up and just.
Well, I don't sleep, man. I average about 4 hours, man. I average about
Yeah.
4 hours, man.
That's dope that you still have that in you, man. That feeling. You know what I mean? I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
because I do have a regular job. You know what I'm saying? I do have a
Yeah,
nine to
yeah.
five that I go to,
Right.
and like I tell people, even some of my co-workers, because I don't work overtime. My job, they make a lot of money overtime. You know what I'm saying? These
Right.
guys, my co-workers, they making close to 200,000 a year. With the
With
overtime,
the overtime, guys.
and I don't do none. And they laugh at me. They like, why you don't do no overtime? I said because I don't work for money. I work for freedom. If my mindset was that I work for money, I'm losing. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So I have to train my mind that I do this for freedom. I do that so that I can do this.
Right, right,
That's it.
right.
And my love, you know, and I know we got to get out of
That's
here.
okay. Yeah.
What I have a saying that I tell people: when you love something, right? If you want to hate doing something that you love, do it for money
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because that's what for about 8 years I didn't do nothing.
Mm.
I didn't do nothing. Sporadically, very sporadically, because when it became I need to make money, I need to pay my bills doing this, I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't come up with nothing because everything was not good enough. Or if I thought something was good enough and I sent it to a label and they didn't get back to me with some money, the despair and it destroyed me because whenever I sat down, it was about money. Oh, I need to make some money. I need to sell a beat. I need to. Okay, they looking for this type of beat. They
Mm-hmm.
said they want a club shit, man. I'm like, fuck it. Let me try to do a club joke because I need to make some money. They said they want this, and I just fell apart. You know,
Right, right. It took away, yeah, 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 the joy and everything. Yep.
no more joy.
Creativity. Yeah.
No more joint. Now I love what I do. I sit down, I do whatever. See, this ain't no really no boom bap shit, but I like the
It
vibe. You
sounds
know,
dope.
I don't
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't I don't care what's gonna happen with it, you know.
Right,
It might just go in the archive, you know what I'm saying? I don't
right,
know.
right.
It's not one of the beats that I would put up on IG because I'm gonna be putting up that hard stink face shit. That's what I love. That's what I love to do. I do things like this just
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
that vibe too. And you
No
never
doubt.
know.
No
You never
doubt.
know.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Listen, Jess, man, once again, like Sincere said, on behalf of Change the Hip Hop Guards, we appreciate every single thing you've done. Thank you for everything
Yeah.
you contributed
And
to the culture and giving us to enjoy and everything
yeah.
that you got coming up in the future, man. We appreciate it.
Oh yes, and you know, we stay connected
Oh,
Instagram
yeah,
anytime.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you
yeah.
need anything, you know, you can
Vice
holler at me
versa.
anytime. You
Vice
know,
versa.
you know, and I want to say I appreciate brothers like yourself, man, and you know, you do these podcasts and you keep the information, you keep people's spirits alive, you keep us. This is something that, you know, my grandkids will be able to watch, man.
Right,
You
right,
know, later on me, even after I'm gone. You
right.
know, so I appreciate you guys that do this and reach out
Yeah,
to cats like myself, man, to hear a little bit about my story, man. So I
no
appreciate
doubt.
it, man. All
No
right.
doubt. Thank you.